Greetings everybody, it's Rob from Sage Tower Games, and I'm here with another Marvel Champions video, and this one is another top 5 list. That's right, the top 5 allies for the aggression aspect. Stay tuned to kind of see what I think of the top 5 allies. Now, I want to preface this by saying that this is my own general ideas for the allies. This is not any specific, hardcore definition. This is what I think are 5 of the useful aggression allies in a general sense. There are some cases, some builds, either in your decks, either in the encounters that you are playing against, when one ally may be better suited than another ally. But this is, again, just a straight general consensus for me. So let's begin. Number 5 is Angela. Now, Angela is a pretty interesting ally, and it has been one that a lot of aggression decks have used, especially if you're playing Thor or other ones. She's a 0-cost ally, 0 threat, 2 attack, 3 health, and her main thing is that when she comes into play, you must search the top 10 cards of the encounter deck for a minion, put it into play, engage with you. Obviously with Thor, she works really well because the minion comes out, you activate Thor's ability, you draw 2 more cards, and so forth. On top of that, aggression has a lot of different cards that can do overkill to minions to kind of play off killing minions, so it makes sense that it would work. And she's a decent beater for 2 attack. She can attack twice plus block, so 4 damage a block if you can deal with a minion, and she's free, so a pretty good cost for a decent aggression ally. Number 4 is one of my personal favorites, which is really useful depending on what your counter you're playing. That is Spider-Girl. Spider-Girl is a 2-cost ally, 1 threat, 2 attack, 2 health, and when she comes into play, she stuns and confuses a minion. This is really good because she can pretty much shut down a beefy minion for a few turns to give you time to breathe. And she can do 2 damage and block, so she's useful in that sense. 2 damage, a block, and a stun and a confuse on the minion. The only downside I have to her is that a lot of times I either draw her when there's no minion on the board, or I end up defeating the minion, due to overkill damage and stuff, that the stun and confuse doesn't really play into it. But if you have one of these big beefy new elite minions come out, and you can just keep it at bay for a little bit, giving you that time, it's worth it. It's a very useful card just to control one of those minions. But sometimes you do miss with the ability. The board state just doesn't allow you to do it. It is what it is. Unfortunate. Number 3 on my list is one that I personally don't really play that often, but I have to put him on the list because of just sheer value alone, and that is Sentry. Sentry is a 4-cost ally, so he's a bit expensive, but he has 2 threat, 3 attack, 5 health, but when he comes into play, he deals off an encounter card. If you can get past the high cost and the encounter card, 3 attack for 5 health means he can do 12 damage and block. So he can do a ton of damage, and that's before any sort of buffs or anything else you may want to do to him. So if you need damage, and which aggression loves to do damage, then this screams, let's do some damage. I mean, he's the pure damage type ally. Again, the high cost is kind of why I usually don't play him, combined with the encounter card, depending on, what scenario you might be playing. But you can't deny that his value is just pretty good once he gets on the board. You just can't. Number 2. So the second one is one that kind of is a bit different from Sentry, and this is Bug. Bug is really good. He's a 2-cost ally, 1 threat, 1 attack, 2 health, but his stat line is not impressive. However, he heals every time you make a basic attack. Now, aggression, if you're playing aggression, there's a good chance number of the aggression heroes that you might be playing with are going to be swinging, attacking themselves. Either they have weapons on them, or you're doing some sort of just basic attack, you have a high attack. So because of that, having this character that can heal means you can keep him on the board for a long time. On top of that, he's a guardian, so you can add the energy spear to him to give him a +2 attack. And then he eventually can just be a free damage constantly pinging on the board, or maybe constant thwarting on the board. So he's kind of like your mini black cat, if you will, kind of just doing a little damage as long as you keep attacking. And that kind of usefulness, plus, as I said, he's a guardian, but he plays into any of the guardian cards out there as well. So both of those really make him kind of a unique and a cheap one to play. So even if you have to block with him, it's not like the end of the world. Before we go into our number 1, I want to talk about some honorable mentions for the top 5 allies. I couldn't do this list without naming some of these, which could have been on the list, but frankly, I thought, maybe not. And this is, of course, I'll start off with the first one, which is everyone's favorite ally, Hulk. Hulk is a 2-cost ally in blank thwart, so he can thwart, 3 attack, 5 health, and of course, whenever he attacks, you discard the top card of your deck, and depending on the resource type, something happens. As many of you who've played Marvel Champions know, there's always the fact that he can either damage everything or discard himself automatically. And there's a lot of times where you attack, do 3 damage, you flip over that mental resource, and he's gone. And that's the reason why I didn't put Hulk on the list personally. The unreliability of his ability is kind of what makes it struggle. Yes, you can build for it, that's true, but I don't feel like it's worth to build just around this one card. Kind of rough. So that unreliability is, in my opinion, what I don't like about it. The other honorable mention, kind of going from unreliable to rather reliable in my opinion, is Wasp. Wasp is a 0-cost ally, 1 threat, 3 attack, but you must pay essentially energy resources up to 3 to give her health, kind of like Ant-Man in leadership. And she has health equal to that. Now, this is good because she got 3 attack, so she's got high attack. And she can be what you need her. Do you need just a quick 3 damage? Just play 1, boom, have attack. Maybe 2 cost, attack for 3, maybe defeat a minion, and then block for you. There you go. The high attack gives her the ability to clear some minions for you and take a hit for you as well. I like the 3 attack, gives her a high attack value, damage, everything, and she's just more reliable for what you want her to do, in my opinion. Alright, here we are. Number 1 ally, and this is one that I bounced around a bit trying to figure out what I thought would be the best ally for aggression at this moment. And it's gonna be surprising, I think. This is, in my opinion, the best ally I've seen so far. And that is Throg. Yep, you guessed it, maybe not. Throg Thor. Throg is a really good card. There's no way else around it. 2 cost, 1 threat, 2 attack, 2 block. He is an Asgard and Guardian, so he's got 2 keywords that play off a lot of different words out there. And his response is, if he enters play and you're engaged with a minion, as we've seen, there's a ton of cards in aggression that give you minions, he gains a tough status card. So what does this mean? This means for 2 cost, if you have a minion, he comes into play, he gains a tough. Alright? That turn, the villain attacks. Throg blocks it because she has tough, no problem. Alright. Next turn, he's exhausted because of that, whatever is fine. Either the turn after, he can either attack from 1, or he can block the next attack. So now he's blocking 2 attacks. He'll probably get defeated at that point. But the fact that he can block 2 hits for 2 is essentially almost 2 stuns in one ally. And what makes this so useful is aggression likes to take damage. but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it struggles with taking too much damage. You know, it doesn't want to get punched in the face all the time. So having this kind of blocker that can just absorb 1-2 hits is cheap. Possibly, like I said, 2. He has the Asgard and Guardian, so he can play off both those words. You know, you can play Thor into a team building exercise, and now he's coming out for 1. That's really useful right there, you know? Or even a Guardian into that. Like, there's so many different ways you can play Throg. And the fact that he can essentially be almost a webbed up in a sense, which is a 4-cost signature card for Spider-Man. But instead is a 2-cost, probably even cheaper depending on what you have in your hand, card, makes it that much better in my opinion. And Aggression kind of, I felt like, needed that sometimes, where they were really good at doing damage. Like they have no issue popping out the damage. The issue was surviving in the meantime, and of course thwarting. But surviving in the meantime is the key point. So by having this ally, it allows you to survive. It allows some of the weaker heroes possibly as well to survive. One of my favorite aggression decks is like a Hawkeye aggression deck. Hawkeye can do a ton of damage in aggression. He's got good cards. He has like 3 attack base. On top of that, he can do a lot of damage. But he only has 9 health. He's very squishy. So you can't take multiple hits like that. But by him having Throg, for instance, who you can play, doesn't have to be Asgard or Guardian, you can play him regardless of your type, means now he has blockers. On top of that, with Mockingbird, he has so many ways to keep himself safe while dishing out the damage. And that, in my opinion, is why I think Throg is the best ally for aggression as of right now. So with that, that's my list of allies. What are your guys' thoughts on the top aggression allies? Let me know in the comments down below. I am definitely curious to hear them. And be sure to comment, like, and subscribe for more Marvel Champions content. I'll be making another top 5 ally video for the other aspects soon. So be sure to check those out as well. Thank you guys for watching.